if your phone rings and they call you for roofer marketing, you're screwed. And don't get mad at us as an industry whole when you fall for the sales tactic. Hey guys, Nolen and Jason here with Roofing Webmasters.
Howdy.
Data pins and all kinds of other stuff. All right, today's topic, brand your roofing company and dominate Google. And
Oldie but a goodie.
yeah,
But always
so
bears repeating.
it bears repeating. It's changed. Everything changes all the time. So I went to the VidCon conference, had
Yeah.
a lot of insight there, and it changed my attitude towards marketing a lot on just being, we market for a living anyway.
Yeah.
And then I come back and so
Ourselves and everybody else.
we market for other people, and what people do at VidCon is different than what a roofer needs to do to show up online.
Yeah.
But the attitude of somebody and their brand and how it affects them is deafening to me at this point. So I see a bunch of kids showing up, 50, 60,000 people. I don't know what the average age is, but I would guess it was in the 20s, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't in the 30s and it wasn't in the 40s. And I felt not represented properly at 51. So yeah, there was very few.
Where are my people?
There was very few of me at VidCon, which is a video conference for YouTubers and maybe little TikTokers, I think owned by Paramount now.
Okay.
So what struck me is that when somebody is in business and kind of killing it, kind of doing it, and other people look at that guy, and I'm going to say that guy, like a 40 to 50-year-old man,
Yeah.
and then other 30, 40, 50-year-old men look at him and go, wow, look at that guy. Look at Nolen and Jason up there on film. Look at that guy dominating in roofing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really not amazing. It's an old dude that has decided to do the stuff that all these kids at VidCon are already doing.
Do practically without thinking.
Yeah,
They
so
do almost instinctively.
somebody said there that people make money off of AdSense first and then off branded deals. But the best thing, which most of the kids don't do, is to tie it into their own brand, product, or service.
Right.
Now, I met a guy I told you I had a lot of respect for that was 28-year-old accountant.
Yeah.
And there was no roofer there, so sorry about the lack of response on to that one. But there was an accountant there. My dad is still alive. He's old, but he's a CPA. He was a CPA, and
Retired recently, right?
he did against his will. Just Mother Nature, the ravages of time retired him, right?
Yeah.
And it's worth talking about. I'm going to talk about this. Old guys, old roofers. I refuse to go out like this. I mean, it will not happen to me. I refuse to have it happen to me, but it's happening to most of you guys.
Yeah.
Almost all of you guys in some level this is happening. The first thing that I'll say is that the 28-year-old CPA or accountant had 20 people working for him. Just because you're a lawyer or even a dentist, chiropractor, maybe doctors can get away with this, right? They're in high demand.
Right.
But most professions, if you don't market and know how you're marketing, you went to school, got extra stuff, and you still poor. You still broke. So this guy could have been a CPA. He's out of Dallas. I talked to him after the meeting. YouTube had invited him to a panel discussion. He was next to a cute 21-year-old girl that made a lot of money on AdSense, which is fine.
Yeah.
I don't think she realized that how the money came in. Duke next to her, CPA, he'd be broke. He wasn't that good, he wasn't a good-looking girl. He's just a dude out there, and he put out 160,000 people followed him on Instagram.
Wow.
And then he
Following
tied
a
that.
CPA.
A CPA.
That's crazy.
Followed him, and then he had 20 people. I mean, he's at 28 years old. He's going to be rich, right?
Yeah.
And he understands money.
Your average kind of CPA running his own little firm will have like 4 people working for
They're
him?
lucky if they do. Most
Yeah.
of them can't manage people at all.
Yeah, well,
And they
there's
never
that.
really have anybody.
Yeah.
One person coming and going, 2 people coming and going. So, and you can do this with your roofing business. Here's the difference in a roofer. That is a home service. That is still Google. It's still Google. And I'm not knocking anything else. I don't want to sound like, I think people put upon what they hear from other stuff upon me. We watch trends. Nothing's changed yet from AI. Homeowners still go to Google to search.
Right.
Not many even switch to Bing after ChatGPT, although we optimize you for that, and we optimize you for AI search. That's still the best place to be. And you can't go do Instagram to get your roofing business going like this guy did really and the chancelle's not real high.
Yeah, it's not the same kind of thing.
And people don't really search for a CPA even on Google like they do a roofer.
Yeah.
So you still need a website as the basis, but we're talking about a brand and how things have changed, right? We're talking about signals, old guys limping out to pasture with a whimper, glue factory stuff. And then are you going to work daily, signal daily, and have an understanding of it? I'd like to educate people on the understanding of it. So you're still going to need a website, SEO, data pins. You still got to have all that stuff. But as somebody brands the company better and sends out signals, and people ask me all the time, like, I had a guy today, like, well, we want to do roofing. I don't want to do data pins. I'm like, well, okay.
What do you want to do?
You wanted to have a business, but you don't want to market. You can't really ignore this stuff. People call and argue it to me, and I can't. At a certain point, I'm out. I'm like, okay, if you don't understand this at all,
Yeah.
then I can't help you.
Marketing is not entirely something someone else does for you. You have to participate in it.
You do now.
Yeah.
We used to.
Once upon a time, you could just have us do it. We would do our little thing, and it would work.
The little
That's not the way
thing
it
was
is anymore.
fakey tactics and, links out of the country and blog entries. And now I just talked to a guy who has just added 1,600 county and city pages to a website
Oh my God.
in Massachusetts. And it's dead.
Yeah.
But he's having trouble mourning the loss of that. And I'll tell you something that's changed. And I don't know if it's changed again, so don't hold me to this, but I'm calling all the clients now because their mind is not on straight entirely. And they're my friends and peers, frankly. I get along fabulously with other business people.
Yeah.
But their brain gets off track as soon as they get somebody calling lying to them.
Yeah.
If your phone rings and they call you for roofer marketing, you're screwed. You are screwed. And they don't get mad at us as an industry whole when you fall for the sales tactics.
Yeah.
So they'll
We have someone last month. We had that phone call.
Yeah. And I mean, if this happens, but I'm calling people right now, at least the first 6 months, so make sure that they're on straight, we're on straight, and that they get dominant in the marketplace.
Right.
You can get dominant in the marketplace, but if you don't brand signal, if you don't have website and daily signaling like data pins, and this is different than even like you having your own Instagram or social media stuff or YouTube where you'll get extra branded signaling in,
Yeah.
which will then again benefit Google, right? So you show up higher on Google. I'd think that that's still even more credit as far as a client acquisition than the Instagram or YouTube account itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting found back on Google. Not that you won't get anything from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah.
But-
Well, I tend to think that the personal branding kind of ties in and pushes up.
I hadn't even
the
gotten there
business
yet.
brand,
I hadn't even gotten
you know?
there yet. Well, I'm talking about business branding, and Jason went on to personal brand, which is fine. But I mean, if a roofer wants to do that, I personally have devoted myself to it at this point.
Yeah.
I'm gloves off, done. I'll personal brand Nolen Walker. I'll lay down and say we're going to get 250,000 subs and followers to synergize our brands. But what I do is different than what that roofer does.
Yeah.
And what they'll hear out of that, by the way, which I didn't want you bringing it up, is that they'll screw it up in their head, and they'll think that they're going to go do a personal brand and and an Instagram account. No, but they'll screw it up in their head if it's not brought up straight to them,
Yeah.
and they will, and they'll go, well, I'm just going to go bypass all this, and I'm Buck Wild Joe Buck Wild roofer or such and such, and I'm going for it. I don't even pay these guys. You still have to have a company brand. The personal brand synergizes the company brand. The YouTube account synergizes the company brand. And without it, you're not going to show up. You don't have anything to synergize.
Right.
Joe Buck Wild probably aren't selling a lot. I mean, I don't know. I like that name. Joe Buck Wild might actually
Joe
sell
Buck
some.
Wild.
Joe Buck Wild. That's better than better than Ricky Bobby or that Joe Buck Wild might be selling. That's best. That may be the best roofing company name. Joe Buck
Wild Roofing.
Joe Buck Wild Roofing. So, but you've got to start with the foundational base, and then you synergize the brand through daily branded signaling through a myriad of ways without cheating, which we've done for eons, right? I used to say it all the time.
Yeah.
Your digital branded signaling is the SEO, which people get wrong, and then you don't screw up and stop it. You don't stop it. That's why ever.
That I think that bears repeating a lot. Is that marketing never stops. It doesn't pause. It doesn't take the winter off.
The minute the business owner, an entrepreneur, the roofer, me included, like any of us start thinking about pausing, stopping, retiring, selling, is the minute you're jacked up and not performing well that you're going out.
Yeah.
Heading out to pasture, limping out to pasture with a whimper, a womp womp.
How many times have you had the phone call where someone was telling you, if this doesn't work, I'm done?
Yeah, they don't mean it, because if they say that, they don't have enough money to say that.
Right.
And if they say that, their business isn't good enough to sell.
Yeah.
So anybody and any entrepreneur has weak points. I've said it. I've thought it. I know better now, beyond a shadow of a doubt, if I don't commit to what's going on, and people start these negative narratives up, and I love doing the lives that I'm doing, because it's like, what would you recommend to me? I'd recommend to change the narrative. A guy told me today he was going into tech support. He was asking me on live on Nolen Walker. I'm going into tech support, and I talked to him about a brand. He said, well, a brand he's a software developer.
Yeah.
I said, you're selling software development, right? I was like, we don't trust y'all for shit. Like, y'all are horrible. All of you are awful.
Yeah.
I got my own guy that's in the company, but for this stuff. I said, you tell me you don't need a brand? They're going to trust you through the brand. You're going to commit to your brand.
Without the brand, number one, nobody knows who you are without the brand.
No.
And even if you can get somebody on the phone, without the brand, you have no trust. You have, EEAT.
I'll give you
You don't have that.
You don't have hardly anything without that. Company brands first. I'm going to give you a really good story about a brand.
Okay.
A kid called the other day, and I tried to help him, but he was. I'd never mention these names or even a city, but the kid was probably destitute to some degree. He'd working for a roofing company as a salesperson, probably kind of cocky. I can imagine, right?
They always are.
I'm getting trolled by these young bastards on the lives. I guess it's my due coming. Somebody hit me with an acorn the other day, and I'm like, I can't run fast enough to beat you up, you little kid, anymore. But I know I threw so many eggs and rocks and acorns at cars,
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, this kid's cocky, I'm sure, working as a salesperson. You're the 50-10 split, right? Maybe making big money.
Yeah.
Getting draws, though, in the owner's tired. Because I asked him, he said, well, they fired me. I said, why did they fire you? And he said, well, I said, they're tired of me asking for draws. So making money, but then getting draws. And they're just like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Maybe he was not closing rate. The problem with salespeople, they'll act like they close well, and they close half as much as the owner, and they're sinking the company, but they think they're doing good.
Yeah.
But the kid quits, and he's like, I didn't need them anyway. I went to work for another guy, but I just figured I'd start my own company. Why give them any of the profits? And I said, well, maybe, kid, because I didn't remember his name. I wouldn't even say it if I did. But maybe because they had a brand and a company, and when you knocked on the door and they went to check you, that you looked legitimate and you didn't scare the hell out of them, so
Right.
that you could convert the sale of the door you knocked. And he said, yeah, I'm having trouble with that now. I said, yeah, you have no website, no presence. And he said, yeah. And I said, and you're losing massive amounts of money on
You're
conversion.
just some stranger off the street trying
Right.
to get somebody to do something, and they're like, go away.
And grandparents aren't as old, the old folk aren't as dumb as they used to be. They're logged in. They're on TikTok.
Yeah.
70, 80-year-olds on TikTok, and you don't have a
My
website.
mom is addicted to TikTok.
Yeah.
She's 82.
You knock on the door and they answer it with and you're lucky enough to get on the kitchen table. They're checking you, man. They may not do it in front of you. We'd check in front. I'm like, let's check this guy.
Oh, yeah.
But do you remember?
What's this bad review for?
Yeah. Do you remember back in the day when the phones were just out and we're all walking around the same retail stores that are half gone now?
Yeah.
And you would be like, you'd look at a product on the shelf and then the employees would look at you like, screw you, man. Do you remember that? There was a period of time where you could search the stuff on the shelf with Amazon or another store.
Oh yeah, Amazon will let you scan.
I know,
So,
but
like
but
scan and
the employees
then order it for you.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about 10, 15 years.
Oh, okay,
You could
okay.
look it up and then you could search it, but it was rude.
Yeah.
And now it's just normal.
Yeah.
So somebody quits, says, screw that company. They gave me a few leads, but mainly it was my door knocking that did, and my expert sales and my damn rugged good looks. You know, what did I say the name was? I forgot the name of it.
Joe Buckwild.
Joe Buckwild. Joe Buckwild, God gift to roofing sales, but goes out and tries to start his own thing. Has no brand, no presence, no GBP, sells nothing, and he told me quick. You know,
Vanishes.
Well, he couldn't talk to me. He didn't have any money.
Yeah.
Couldn't sell anything. So, and then people go out and start a company and go, I don't want to do data pins. I don't want to. I don't care what you want to do. Google don't care what you want to do. You're a sales guy. You're a marketer. You're a roofing company, or else you're just a high-ticket gig economy worker, right? That goes up and down with sales up and down. And then you paint a negative narrative about who's kicking butt, who's not, who's up, who's not, and why they're up there. And all that stuff is BS. And I'll talk about that for a minute. All those negative narratives, all that judgment, all that little bits of hate. I call judgment hate now. I've gotten kind of micromanaged about it because I think I've gotten off track. When I walked in and saw 50 to 60,000 kids, different types of kids, new version of American Dream, and then believe me, they're all entrepreneurs in there. It's motivating, you know.
Right.
They weren't complaining. TikTok wasn't hard to them, you know. They weren't embarrassed to sit there and do some dumb dance. It was embarrassing for me to see some of it. Or, you know, dye their hair a certain color or put on a tail just so that somebody will watch them. And by the way, that's where a lot of those trends come from, realizing that now.
Yeah.
They don't give a crap to have a certain color hair. Or
It's their brand.
It's literally getting
in
clicks
some
for
cases.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm not even going there. I'm not asking you guys to put on tails and ears and all that kind of stuff. I don't even expect to
I can
get.
see us going viral for that. This guy's saying all roofers should wear a tail.
Joe Buckwild might get away
Joe
with
Buckwild
it.
would wear a tail.
Joe
if
Buckwild
he
would
had
wear
to.
a tail. He'd do it for the sale. I can tell you that.
Wear a tail for the sake.
He'd wear longhorns on the front. Man.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah. All right. So, but those, I mean, you've got to signal and you can't judge all this stuff. Why is the other roofer ahead of you? Because they participated in massive movement in the economy and you have not. And you won't even get a website that's curated by somebody like Roofing Webmasters and then better it from there. And you could have a fabulous life and move forward and do these things. And the older these guys get that call me, I mean, I had a guy that I said, I can't, I mean, I don't do psychological training from this standpoint. I do some. But he had said he's got to deal with the fact that he had somebody took half his money. Well, they took half my money. And I said, no, you pay enough for it, paid good money. But what does that mean? You know? And I mean, you're talking to somebody that charges tens of thousands of dollars per job.
Right.
Calling around, trying to find, you know, digital marketing for, I don't know.
Under $500.
Yeah, like
that.
a 50 cents for a movie, a Dr. Pepper, and a bucket of popcorn. You know, and then if they can't do it, like, well, they all screwed me. I was like, did they? Did they screw you? It's like, well, this guy won't call me back. I gave him half my money for a website. Why are you paying for a website? And they'll say, well, we do websites. He said, well, you need a website. I said, you do need a website. But do you pay for a website? You know, you pay for a digital brand signaling. We provide a website in order for a brand to get the best quality possible as part of their brand. And then we begin digital signaling, data pins, and a lot of other things.
Yeah. But we don't make you pay for the website because we don't treat a website like real estate.
So yeah, he said, what are you going to, well, I just need a few leads. Yeah, well, I just need, and like, no, you need to digitally do digital brand signaling for the brand. And then you get what you get from Google. It's like,
Right.
well, I just need a little bit. I said, this is not make a deal with the elite capitalists, you know, that own the algorithm. This
Right.
is not that thing. You put forth your best foot in measurement with them. You digitally brand, yes, a website, yes, a Google business profile, yes, reviews, yes, some links, yes, data pins, yes, to citations and speed and SSL certificates, and maybe auxiliary measurements of digital brand signaling, somebody direct search issue. I'll give somebody one that somebody could do for a direct search. If I was knocking doors, I'd say, hey, if they're nice, somebody's like, say, hey, get the hell off my lawn. I'm not volunteering my name. You
Right.
know? But it's like, yeah, just search Joe Buckwild Roofing. I mean, if I see Joe Buckwild Roofing, I'm going to be so pissed off.
We better
Joe Buckwild. But so, you know, search me. So if you're door knocking, you have canvassers, and everybody in your market begins to search your name, it's digital brand signaling.
Google sees that and they say, oh, a lot of people are interested in this guy.
It's part of algorithmic signals. Everything that you do is part of an algorithmic signal, and you have to understand that part of it. I talk about it a lot more. It hit home for me after VidCon more,
Yeah.
much more. I don't think we're there yet, but I'll just say it just to get it on recording. They talk about a personal brand, and it's not necessary for you guys yet. 99% of y'all have such bad websites that if you'll just focus on your roofing company brand, you're going to get up in ranking. So tons of you guys have this. You don't have to go to a personal brand, but I bet you it's coming.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It's coming.
for ages, what have we been talking about? Personalization on websites. Get pictures of your crew, pictures of your trucks, pictures of your family if you want to do that, if you want to get that, you know, all-American feel going. And I think that personalization is just going to sort of morph into...
We're 5 years away from it,
needing
probably,
that.
but we're coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. So, and then people complain. That guy that was the software guy, I don't think he was like, you know, because I just, his name would indicate that maybe he didn't speak perfect English, you know, and I'm like, hey, dude, like some of the best people out there in social media have broken English, and like for some reason, everybody loves to hear them. You know, the one of the biggest guys in roofing, Dmitry, you know, I think he's Ukrainian,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
broken, you know, accented English, and it's captivating for some reason.
Yeah.
you
Everybody
know?
loves that guy.
Everybody loves it. Loves
Probably half the people watching this know
who he is.
who he is as soon as you say
And
his
I
name.
guess the point is that could have stopped him. That could have stopped the other guy, but they move forward and it goes beyond the brand. Now, I personally think that, you know, it should be something thought of, but everybody listening has like a year or two of work to do on their own website with their own roofing company branded signaling before they even worried about it.
Right.
But if a man stands up and says, I'm not going to participate in the movement of society of what the hell is going on out there, I mean, what are you going to do? You know, I'm going to ignore my roofing. Everybody ignores their roofing brand anyway. If you think you're getting run over now, just give it a few more years, you know. You'll be the old guy limping out to pasture way before your time, and you don't want to be that man. I promise you, you don't want to be that man. It is going to be we all know, that's one thing that changed for me too. It's just, I'm having a fun time dealing with the clients a little bit more right now. I think you can tell I am. I don't plan on changing. I don't know if I'll change my mind, because shit is hard. But every time you bitch and say it's hard and don't do it, it gets worse.
Yeah.
It literally gets worse.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's me and my business, you and your business. Every time you try to dip out and go, I don't want to do that hard thing,
Life is hard.
then your life gets worse and your roofing company gets worse. And the same thing happens to me and every man out there.
Yeah.
Every single one of us. And so I mean, I don't know why people don't do this when I tell them to, you know, or they go somewhere else. They get sold on a sales spiel. They get sold a sales spiel. And then
That's the problem. There's very few companies that are telling them what we will tell them that they have to participate.
well, they hear the sale. I just had a guy tell me that someone in another state was, I was their mentor. I was like, I don't know who that is. It was I said, is a digital marketing agency. I said, he may think I'm his mentor, but I'm not. He does not. I don't know who he is and have not spoken with him. So he'd gotten a hold of this guy that I'd called that was looking for services. I said, I don't know who he is. And I said, be careful who you listen to, because somebody can learn the way I talk.
Somebody's trying to Neil Patel you without even paying you a cut.
Dude, that's all anything is right now online.
Yeah.
And people don't know. So all anything is thought influencers is like, hey, let me show you how to, you know, go to Barcelona and date 5 girls at one time and drive in a Ferrari. And it's like everything's curated and fake and BS.
Yeah.
The whole story's fake. And so, yeah, you got to be careful in digital marketing who you listen to. We have a lot of credentials out there. A lot of channels been around a long time. And I don't know how else to handle it right now, besides because people get so messed up in their thought process. Because I won't let another dude get messed up on this stuff.
Right.
You get you in, dialed in, you get up in rank and get dominant. and not mess it up and have a great life and get up and ranking. We call it the big show. People that are up there kicking ass and having a good time. People that show up on Google, now AI search, Bing, they have a great life. And almost none of them, I'll tell you some differences that we talked about. They try. They're not spending 10 grand a month, anywhere near it. They don't spend as much as you think. They don't have negative attitudes towards it. They say yes more than they say no, and they try. Sorry, let me turn this. The reason I'm going to turn it back off. I turn it off. I lose the calls after I leave here to turn it back on. You got any other thoughts about this stuff, or any other?
No, I think you covered it. Like I said, I know I segued into the personal brand thing, but
Well, I don't have a problem talking about personal brand.
yeah,
I'm doing one. I'm by God doing one.
like I said, I think it's coming, but while we did talk about it a little bit, like you said, the business brand is the most important thing. These things have to be done in the right order,
Right.
or they don't work. If you try to do a personal brand and then throw out, oh, I'm starting a roofing company, that's not going to do anything for you. It has to come in the right order, in the right sequence. So get your business brand going first,
Yeah.
and then maybe boost it with a personal brand later when that becomes necessary.
Yeah, it'll take forever for this to happen, but that guy would run you clean over.
Yeah.
Run you clean over. Yeah, and that's another thing. I'll say that on something. You know, you can have a massive jackass get up in ranking, and you can be the coolest dude in the world. And we talked about this before. That massive jackass will dial in service eventually. Not only massive jackass, horrible roof systems, horrible understanding of roofs, and just this jackass sales guy
Yeah.
gets going in your market, and you're like, God dang it. Why didn't the
He
public
doesn't know anything.
Why didn't the public
Yeah.
know that massive jacket? That Joe Buckwild, man, that guy, you know he's Buckwild? You know? And it's
He
like,
doesn't know anything about roofing.
He
He's
doesn't
never
know
actually put on a roof. He's just a salesman.
yeah, he's down at the
But everybody
bar.
knows who he is. And he can hire somebody who knows how to put a roof
So
on.
that guy, but you know what that guy does? He understands marketing.
Right.
He markets and gets a lead, and then he makes a sale, and he sucks so bad at roof systems, and the subcontractors are popping 2 nails on one side and one on the other, and they're violating the rules for wind resistance, all this crap, and you're like, I could go up there and show you Joe Buckwild's roofs. It's crazy bad, because Joe Buckwild's just a sales guy. He's a jackass. Joe Buckwild, after time, will see, oh my God, I got in trouble with that insurance company, and I got a bad review. It's like, well, I can't have that happen. You know what Joe Buckwild's going to do? He's going to dig into his massive pocket full of cash, and he's going to take the resources of the sale, and he's going to fix his roof systems and his service and his checks and balances and procedures, and then some of that Buckwild's going to rub off of him as he gets a little older, and he's going to be Joe Buckwild, the badass roofer in your market.
Right.
And he's going to go from the guy you hated to the guy that dominates and provides good service, and he's still a badass marketer. And he'll run all over you, take your family legacy, your 4th generation roofing company, and then you got Joe Buckwild. Now he's legitimate.
Yeah.
Change his name to just Joe Wild.
Joe Wild. And in case, just to encapsulate what Nolan just said, marketing comes first.
Yeah.
That is your first concern as the owner of a business, period.
Period. Everything else gets fixed after it.
Yeah.
Everything.
Everything else can get taken care of tomorrow. Marketing has to be taken care of today.
Jeff Bridges and RIPD, rest in peace department, Booty Hoo Hoo.
Never saw that.
Booty Hoo Hoo.
Booty Hoo.
I love his character, though. I love his character. It's great. All right, guys. When you're ready to kick some butt, we will be your team. We will help you. You can get up in ranking. You can dominate. I'll even provide you personal consulting on this stuff. I'm enjoying that right now. I think it's fabulous. I want you to be dominant. Once you get up in ranking, give us a call when you're ready. Don't forget to like and subscribe to all the stuff that we do now. And go check out Nolen Walker, Nolen Walker, for some of my extra business coaching and stuff. All right, guys. We'll see you.
Take it easy.